There was a fisherman who caught everything except what mattered. Silverfish, golden fish, fish that glowed in the dark, but the one thing he truly needed, it kept slipping through his nets, until the day he caught something that would change his fate forever.
Rohan was the best fisherman in the coastal village of Nalani. Every morning before dawn, he'd sail into the deep waters while others stayed close to shore. He returned with nets overflowing, enough to sell, enough to boast about, enough to make other fishermen jealous. But here's what nobody knew. Rohan was drowning in debt. Years ago, he'd borrowed money from a ruthless moneylender named Shakir to buy his boat. The interest kept piling up like waves in a storm. Now Shakir owned not just Rohan's earnings, but his future. Every coin Rohan made went straight into Shakir's pocket, and still the debt grew larger. "You have 3 months," Shakir told him one evening, his gold rings glinting in the firelight. "Pay me 20,000 gold coins, or I take your boat, your house, everything, and you'll work for me as a servant for the rest of your miserable life." 20,000 gold coins. It was impossible. Rohan would need to catch and sell fish for 10 years straight to earn that much. That night, Rohan couldn't sleep. He sat by the shore, staring at the black water, contemplating sailing away and never returning. His wife Mira found him there. "What if we run?" Rohan whispered. "Start over somewhere else." Mira held his hand. "Run where? Shakir has connections in every port. Besides, this is our home. Our parents are buried here." She was right. Running wasn't the answer.
The next morning, Rohan decided to do something desperate. There was a part of the ocean the villagers called the Throat, a deep trench where the currents were violent and unpredictable. Fishermen who ventured there either returned with legendary catches or didn't return at all. "I'm going to the Throat," Rohan announced. The old fisherman laughed. "You'll die out there, boy. That place is cursed." But Rohan had no choice. Certain death by drowning or certain slavery to Shakir. He'd take his chances with the sea. He sailed for hours until he reached the infamous waters. The ocean churned like boiling soup. His small boat rocked violently. Rohan cast his net with trembling hands and prayed to every god he knew. When he pulled the net up, it was so heavy he nearly capsized. Inside wasn't fish at all. It was a massive clay jar, sealed with wax and covered in strange symbols. Rohan's heart pounded. He'd heard stories, ancient tales of jinn and demons trapped in vessels, of treasures cursed, of wishes that turned into nightmares. But desperation makes gamblers of wise men. He broke the seal. Smoke erupted from the jar, thick and golden, swirling into a form that made Rohan stumble backward. It wasn't a jinn or a demon. It was an old woman, translucent and shimmering, floating above the deck. "Finally," she sighed, her voice like wind through seashells. 400 years I've been trapped in that cursed jar." Rohan could barely speak. "Are you a spirit?"
"I am Valora, once the greatest merchant in 7 kingdoms. I was betrayed by a trusted ally in my trade, cursed by a jealous witch, and sealed in this prison for centuries." She looked at him with ancient eyes. "You freed me. According to the old laws, I must grant you one favor, anything you desire." Rohan's mind raced. Anything? This was it, his salvation. "I need 20,000 gold coins," he blurted out. "I'm in debt. I'll lose everything. Please." Valora held up a ghostly hand. "I cannot create money from nothing. That's not how this works. But I can give you something better. I can give you knowledge." "Knowledge?" Rohan's voice cracked with desperation. "I need coins, not lessons." "Fool," Valora said, but not unkindly. "Coins disappear. Knowledge multiplies. Listen carefully." She floated closer. "I will teach you the secret of the 3 nets. Use them wisely, and you'll have more wealth than you can imagine. Use them foolishly, and you'll have nothing." Rohan had no choice but to listen. "The first net," Valora began, "catches what everyone else catches. It's the net of comfort. You throw it where it's safe, where it's easy, where you know you'll get something. It fills your belly today, but leaves you hungry tomorrow. The second net catches what others miss. It's the net of cleverness. You throw it where others won't look, the hidden places, the difficult waters. It brings you wealth, but never satisfaction, because you're always chasing the next catch. The third net," she paused, her form flickering, "catches what doesn't exist yet. It's the net of creation. You don't throw it into the water at all." Rohan frowned. "Then where do I throw it?" "Into people," Valora said. "You teach them to fish. You help them build boats. You create something that generates value for everyone. That's the net that never runs empty." Before Rohan could ask more, Valora's form began dissolving. "My time is done. Remember, 3 nets, 3 choices. Choose wisely, fisherman." She vanished, leaving only the empty jar and the smell of salt.
Rohan sailed home, his mind churning like the throat itself. 3 months to save himself, 3 nets to choose from. The first week, he used the first net. He fished the normal waters, sold his catch, counted his coins. After 7 days of brutal work, he'd earned 300 gold coins. At this rate, he'd need 15 years to pay Shakir. Impossible. The second week, he used the second net. He fished dangerous waters at night, caught rare deep-sea creatures that restaurants paid premium prices for. He worked until his hands bled, slept 3 hours a night. After 7 days, he'd earned 2,000 gold coins. Better, but still not enough. 2 months left, and he was exhausted. The third week, Rohan sat on the beach, staring at his boat, and finally understood. He gathered all the young men in the village who wanted to learn fishing. "I'll teach you everything I know," he said, "but in return, you work with me. We split the profits equally." The old fisherman mocked him. "Sharing your secrets? You'll create your own competition, you fool!" But Rohan remembered Valora's words. The third net catches what doesn't exist yet. He taught 12 young men his techniques. They learned the waters, the tides, the secret spots. Within 2 weeks, they formed a fishing company. 13 boats working together, covering more ocean than any individual could. They didn't just catch fish, they created a system. They built a processing facility. They negotiated better prices with merchants. They even started a small restaurant.
By the end of the 3rd month, Rohan walked into Shakir's mansion. "I've come to settle my debt," Rohan said. Shakir laughed. "You couldn't possibly." Rohan dropped a heavy chest on the table. Inside, 30,000 gold coins. Shakir's face went pale. "How?" "I stopped fishing alone," Rohan said simply. "I built something bigger than myself." But here's the twist nobody expected. One of the young men Rohan had trained was Shakir's own son, Farhan. The boy had run away years ago, tired of his father's cruelty, and had been living in a neighboring village. When he heard Rohan was teaching fishing, he joined under a false name. When Farhan saw his father's shock, he stepped forward. "Father," Farhan said quietly. Rohan gave me something you never did. He gave me skills, respect, and a share of what we built together. I've made more in 3 months working with him than I ever made collecting your debts." Shakir stared at his son, and for the first time in decades, something in him cracked. "I've been using the first net my whole life," Shakir whispered, more to himself than anyone else. "Taking from others, never creating anything, and I'm rich but have nothing." Rohan placed a hand on Shakir's shoulder. "It's never too late to learn the third net."
Within a year, Rohan's fishing company became the largest in the region. But more than that, it changed the village. Fishermen worked together instead of competing. Families prospered. And Shakir? He dissolved his money-lending business and invested in the community instead. People asked Rohan how he'd accomplished the impossible. He'd simply smile and say, "I caught something in the throat that day. Not a fish, not treasure. I caught the truth. The best net doesn't catch what already exists. It creates what the world needs." We spend our lives using the first net, doing what's safe and comfortable, or the second net, working harder and smarter than others. Both can bring temporary success, but they keep us trapped in a cycle of endless effort. The third net represents a different paradigm, creating systems, teaching others, building something that grows beyond our individual capacity. When you help others succeed, when you create value that multiplies through collaboration, you break free from the limitation of your own two hands. The greatest wealth isn't caught or earned alone, it's built together. Real freedom comes not from working harder at the same thing, but from changing the game entirely. Remember, you can fish for a living, or you can teach a village to fish and transform an entire economy. The question isn't how hard you're willing to work, it's whether you're willing to think bigger than yourself. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who's stuck in their own impossible situation. Sometimes the answer isn't working harder, it's working smarter by lifting others as you climb.